What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday, January 31st. It is the end of the month, and thank goodness, right? Like, everyone's probably pretty excited about payday and paying rent. So, um, I'm pretty excited about getting paid. That's always nice. So, we're here at the end of the month. We're working on painting number 5. Um, and if you haven't watched these episodes before, basically Monday I choose the subject. This week's subject was the pangolin, pangolin, pangolin. I think it is the pangolin. We'll watch a video about it. I watched a few videos. I did some research, and today actually I was just trying to, like, my mom had told me something about uh, the pangolin being related to COVID somehow, and then it opened this whole world of pangolin, pangolin, uh, just pangolin topics basically. So then I started looking into that, and then there was like different types of, I don't know, DNA strands that match the COVID uh, genome or something. I got to a point where like I just really didn't understand it anymore, and then I was like, well, I guess this is too smart for me. But it did take me a while to like read the article and like do some research. But hopefully today or tonight, while we do continue on with our journey through this painting, we're going to look at some examples of the pangolin, and we're going to learn a little bit about it. And I kind of want to see it in motion, and I haven't watched too many videos about it. This one that we're actually going to watch that I've chosen for us is the BBC one. It's Pangolins and Aardvarks Search for Termites. Some of the other ones were a little graphic and having like a lot of poaching pictures, which I didn't really care for. I kind of want to see it alive, so I want to see how it moves. It's actually a pretty interesting looking animal, uh, and it moves pretty crazy. Like you'd think it move on all fours, but it actually walks on its hind two legs and has two little tiny front legs, like a miniature T-Rex. This thing is the weirdest animal, um, and I'm hoping this BBC one does it justice. But we'll just have to kind of take a look and check it out. So I'm gonna hop over into the desktop, and nope, that's the studio. Oh, actually, let's hop into the studio first. So, just talking about this project, let's go back to where we all started. And let me move a few things out of the way so we can talk about the project. So on Mondays, I roll dice to see what I'm going to be using this week again. This week I'm using a recycled piece of canvas. We'll see if I'm able to salvage this. I have drawn on it a little bit, and this is a piece that my brother had done some test work on, then given up on it when he moved. He just gave me a bunch of stuff that he couldn't move. So, I'm trying to get some of that to use and put it out as new artwork. And that's the plan, so that it doesn't just end up in stacks and piles of canvas. So, this one needs to be redone. I was thinking, we picked the animal. The animal is the pangolin. And here's the drawing that I did. Now, this is pretty interesting because the more I drew this character, I thought, this is probably where Sonic the Hedgehog came from. I drew it rolled up because these things can roll up and protect themselves, and I was quite interested to see how it all fit together in that space. And his front foot comes up against his body, and his little tiny T-Rex arm goes inside of it. So he like curls up and like puts both his feet on the inside, and then his other legs roll up in between it, and then he curls into a ball. And then his tail kind of wraps around him. So, yeah, that was kind of an interesting like way to draw him, and it really reminded me of Sonic the Hedgehog, just his face. And this was drawn from like a real drawing. I know it doesn't look realistic, but this was a sketch that I did today. What's the day? Wednesday? Yesterday. I did this one yesterday. And I also like really like this look of him. I like this shape. And so interesting enough, like pangolins have an exoskeleton, but they also have, they're mammals, so they actually have a skeleton. So it's not much. I mean, like his head's really like basic. Like if you look at it, super basic head. But this is a tree pangolin, and at least from what the picture said. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, at least the skeletal structure. Then you can draw the bones around it, but the claws are quite big on these animals for, like, I'm guessing digging out insects. And we'll see here in a second, because we'll see them eat. And we'll jump over into the movie and maybe get some more brainstorming ideas so we can continue on with this painting. Alright, so let's jump over into our desktop, and this might get trimmed. I'm hoping it doesn't, but if it does, this is the BBC Earth Pangolins and Aardvark Search for Termites. You can find this on the BBC YouTube channel. I'm just playing it off YouTube. But good place to get some information if you need it, especially if you're drawing.
The Kalahari Desert. Here, food is more plentiful, but it's hidden. A pangolin. She can collect food that others can't reach. A keen sense of smell enables her to detect the presence of ants and termites in their nests beneath the sand.
We're looking right at each other on the stream. Oh my goodness, I'm underneath his leg. I hope he's not digging a toilet, because I'm not in a great spot.
Her sticky tongue, some 30 centimeters long, enables her to
30
collect
centimeters
food from
long?
the ground. And she's being carefully watched.
Dude, that bird just plucked out my eye.
The drier it gets, the deeper the termites live. Many are way beyond the reach of even a pangolin. But not of an aardvark.
Okay, now is this all aardvark? Yeah, the rest of that is all aardvark. Damn, that wasn't very much about the pangolin, was it? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about captive pangolins, but this one, the most trafficked key. This one was okay, except there's a girl in it. She's very narrative-y. but it is pretty interesting. So this one's done by Animal Logica.
And you're watching
Logic.
Animal Logic. Pangolins look like the offspring of an anteater and a pine cone. And until pretty recently, they were placed in the same order as anteaters, Xenarthra. But new research has placed
Does
them
look
in
like
their
a
own
pine
family,
cone. She is right.
Nanidae. Their closest known relatives on the evolutionary branch are now believed to be carnivora. There are 8 different species of pangolin, 4 in Asia and 4 in Africa. Depending on the species, they're either arboreal and living in trees, or ground-dwelling and living in burrows, which can be up to 40 meters long and 5 meters below the ground. Pangolins vary in size as well. The smallest being
That thing
the
is
long-tailed
so
pangolin,
crazy to
whose
look.
body
Okay, I'm gonna cut the audio so we don't get in trouble, but I'm just looking at these things. It does look like a pine cone. He was given.
hyenas. The pangolin will curl up into a ball, tucking their head under their armored tail, leaving them virtually impenetrable. Not only do their scales make it near impossible for them to be chewed on by lions, but the edges of their scales can be very sharp, making them even less appealing as an afternoon snack. However, if a pangolin is caught before it's had a chance to roll up, it will defend itself by thrashing its long, muscular tail back and forth, cutting its attacker with its sharp scales. The diet of pangolins consists almost exclusively of ants and termites. And like anteaters, they have a very long and sticky tongue which they use to grab and eat their meals. Depending on the species, a pangolin's tongue can be longer than its body, and unlike our tongue, the pangolin's tongue is rooted down close to their abdomen. In order to keep their tongue sticky, they have an overactive salivary gland which is constantly...
Those are some crazy scales.
Their scales
Like
aren't their only defense from attacking ants. Their eyelids are incredibly thick, and they can constrict their ears and nostrils.
there's an ant in that poor anteater or pangolin's ear, but look at the scale. It's pretty crazy looking. I'm just gonna take a quick note of what that looks like. So it almost looks like a. She's right. It does look like a pine cone. And then it's like, I don't even know, white stripes? They don't really centralize that well. But that's kind of, and this is much lighter. Oh. Just taking some quick notes. Emily's plural.
To prevent ants and termites from entering. Not only that, but pangolins don't have teeth. Instead, they have very muscular stomachs that are lined with keratinous spines, which they use to break down the prey that they eat live. Kind of like the sarlacc pit. They will also swallow small rocks called gastroliths, which, in combination with their unusual stomachs, help mash and grind down the ants and termites that the pangolin swallows. In order to find their meals, which are typically located in the ground, in hills, or in mounds,
Man, that thing is wild
pangolins
looking.
have huge claws designed.
Yeah, they knew they were gonna have some huge claws. Okay. But still, we're looking for walking, so we don't really need audio. Let's just look for some good. Do we want him like digging? Okay, let's just sketch out a couple ideas real quick on. Oh, there's another drawing on the back of this one. Okay. There's 2 more drawings. This one's good. So just while we're here, we're going to jump back over into the split screen. Split screen. So we can see everything. I'm going to just put the paper here sideways. And actually, I'm going to take the canvas out from behind the paper, so I'm not drawing on canvas. There's really no need to do that. I'm also going to get a new piece of paper, and I'm going to draw in Sharpie so we can all see, or at least pen. I'll be right back. Alright, where's my not so Sharpie? Whoa. Too much white. Back out a little bit. Okay. Sorry, guys. So if I do him digging, no, the actual canvas is pretty a weird size. What size would I say that is? It's probably something like, I don't know. It's probably something like this. Right, something like that. I did that bad. That's okay though, because this is kind of what we already have. Okay. There we are with that. And so, just to give us an idea of like what our actual drawing is, we got a bunch of like red scribbles on this side. I think there's like green sky-ish. And then we got like black here down here. Like some black. Okay. And then what I was thinking that I would do is that I would have one of those anteater things sitting here, but and like the anthill right here, an anthill. Anthill, right? But these are the things we're eating, ants and trees, which not really. Well, I could put that, they could just turn this into a tree, like the front of a tree. How do I draw? And then put it on a tree? Okay. There's a couple different ways. Okay. Anthill or the tree. I guess we're just gonna brainstorm all on one, because we're not doing a great job. But if I do the tree, right? I'm gonna have to draw it in a weird angle. Right? Because the idea, and this ear is like inverted, and his eye has like a super thick eyelid so you can never see it. And then it's got all these weird spikes and porcupine, not porcupine. And then it goes into bigger. And then the ones closest to us will be the most accurate to what it's going to look like. And then it can come down, but his arms don't touch. He walks with his claws like underneath him, and his legs hold him up. Some pretty gnarly like bottom legs. that's a really terrible sketch. It's because I just didn't care. Most sketches are like that when you're doing them in really dry Sharpie. They're just not what you want them to be. And then his face is fine, like up to his nose. He pretty much has them all around his nose. And he's got this crazy long tail, which I could like wrap it around this, since he's climbing up the tree. Maybe there's like an ant here, right? Because the idea is the UFO is tiny. It's like a micro UFO. Oh yeah. So this is not a bad look. I kind of like this one. Like his foot claw would be like underneath, because his leg. I'd have to draw it in perspective, like the line in his back would go up and over, like you could hit the back of his head. It's not a bad look. Or we could paint over the red, which might need to be done. Paint over the red and not use it. Wow, I need some supplies. What's going on these days? It's expensive to draw. Okay, well there's another frame. So again, we have like this big red spot, and these things are mainly nocturnal too, but, or were these nocturnal? Maybe it's the Wolverine that was nocturnal. It's probably the Wolverine. So like my main thought with like the mountains, right? There's like some crazy looking shadowy mountains, like if we're trying to use it. Right? I drew the arm of the tree. Need to figure out how to draw. This tree branch. Going that way. It needs to come out of the tree. From behind the tree. I think. Right? Put a little bit of shading just to see if it can give it some depth. This marker is done. It's cool you can shade with it though now. You could probably give it a little, it's probably going to hurt it more than it's going to help it. But we'll see. Okay, so we're going to retry to, so the The tail and the back of the spine will go down like that. And then you should probably, you don't get to draw it in, it's funny. It's got to be like hanging on. And you got its head with its narrow body. Right? And it's got a hand here because it's got a, but then like this is all covered in scales. That's not super important, right? What's important is the action that's happening in between the pangolin and the UFO. So this is like hanging out, and they're in China, right? So like this might work out okay. It's gonna be looking for like this ant that's right here. It's being beamed up. Will it work? Will it fit? I like the idea. I don't think it'll fit. I think I've already ruined it. Look, there's UFOs everywhere. Can you ruin something though? That is the question. Probably. This is probably ruined. I don't know if I should start. I mean, at some point, why not? But is that which one I want to go with? Is the one that's crawling on the branch? Then I need to look up some that are crawling on branches because these ones are all digging. Like, whoa. Whoa. He's like flexing hard. I don't even see where his back legs are though. Here, look. Split screen. I don't even see where his back legs are here. That one's a little mossy. Nope, we don't, sorry. I really want to do one walking. They just look so ridiculous walking. Nope. That one isn't walking correctly. Oh dear. You find one in a tree. Here we go. Oh, hi Kelly. I think that's the way I'm going to go with it. It's going to be risky. It's fine though. I'm okay to take the risk. So what do I do though? Do I kind of want to save this and just use the red to like make a pattern? I think the plan is to, the storyline for this one is this thing's trying to get an ant out of a tree and there's the UFO's trying to abduct the ant, and the tongue and the UFO are having a battle for the ant. I think that's the goal. And the question in that goal is, maybe I can use the background for that. Maybe, but I don't know. I kind of already drew a bunch of stuff over here, which might put us out of the running to use this as a background. Unless I somehow cover it up. It's like doing a tattoo cover up. But I didn't do it in a color that like is easy to cover up, you know? So like what is my plan? I thought I was going to paint it white, but I kind of like the background now. Decisions. Can we fix it? Maybe. Should we try to fix it? Should we start over? I don't know. It'll change the entire idea if I start over. Will it be a waste of paint if I just try to fix it? Questions to be asked. Okay. Well, what do we think? Or do I just draw one like creeping up on it, like walking all weird, like the one that's here? They just have such long tails. I feel like I should give it more of a you know, coming out here. His body would be about here. Like tail, right? Then he needs to stand on a branch, and the branch needs to be coming from this tree's in the foreground. And the branch is coming. The branch would almost come like out from this bottom corner, like, and then he's on a big branch though. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy's on a pretty decent sized branch. What does that tree look like? Now I gotta look at the habitat he lives in. Not many like, okay. Hey, wait, what? Let's get some. That's on a hand, that's on a tree. That's on the ground. Still super awkward. They live on their backs for 2 years. What, really? It said 2 years. Okay. I still don't know what kind of trees these things live in. He looks like he's on a half tree. Interesting. So then what do we do? Tree's not that color. Let's go, this is great and all, but let's go to Google. Let's see if we have one in a tree. This is the most highly poached animal in the world. Crazy. Because of its scales. Look at that thing. What is going on? Wall Street Journal. Man, this thing's pretty popular. Considering, like, I just heard of it. I'm not very popular, though. Huh. Like, I think I could do a cool job drawing it. I just don't know if I can fit it in the space, and if this big space on the other side yeah. He definitely looks like a pine cone. The background's fine, but like it's recycled and Whew, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. I can't repaint it because I don't even know how this was painted originally. It looks like watercolor. And then I drew a bunch of pink stuff on it, so like I was planning on repainting it, I think. But maybe I can save it. I don't know. Should we just try? If I draw the next part, it won't matter, I guess. So let's say I do make that a tree. And there needs to be a branch. It needs to come out here. We're going to put our thing here. Right? Okay. This is why I bought another gray so that we could just do the sketch out. I don't know. I'm probably going to redraw a lot of this, but let's just give it a go, right? So here's the gray. That thing has a very curved body, but as in my... Let's just go back to my sketches. Let's just go to the desktop, studio completely, so we're here. And so the skeletal structure looks like that. But his ability, looks like Sonic the Hedgehog to tuck his legs in and look like that at some points. So cool ability, hard to draw, yes. What am I going to do with this side? This side doesn't look complete. And walking on the ground, I only get half of him. Because he's too big. I could make him smaller. But I wanted him fighting an ant for something. I could still make this a tree. I don't know. I kind of have to pick which way I'm going to go with it. The backside of him is going to be kind of hard to draw. I'm just thinking, let's give it a good collage. You don't always have to go straight for the throat, but what I do need to do is get a Sharpie that works. Okay, so let's say quickly, I'm just going to draw my UFO the size I think it's going to be. I need to draw all the players so that I know who's playing. Good thing the UFO's easy for me to draw. I actually don't even draw that side of it. That's too much. Don't overdo it. Look at that Sharpie. This one's dying too. Here's our guy. Here's our player. Player level 1. Cool. Sharpie. Is that really hard to see? I don't know. Maybe. And then sometimes I cut it out. So sometimes the creative process has more steps than just, drawing something once, or sometimes you gotta really work it out. Other people got it. Know where things go. Me, I have a hard time with things. So there. Oh, let's zoom out. Sorry. Oh, zoom out. My desk is turning into a pencil mess. I did clean up the other day, and then I started this project again. Another painting project, and we started all over again. So UFO over there, right? Great. Player number 2. We need our... So, that one turned out to be a dud. Let's try this one. So, I'm thinking that the tree branch would come out here somewhere. Oh, no. Yeah, this will work. So the tree branch will come out from here somewhere. Like here's the edge of this tree branch. Another branch maybe coming out here. Smaller branch. Right. And that branch may be broken off or something. I don't know how branches work really. There might be a branch that goes up this way. There's probably a branch here, but we don't really need that because what we do need is our friend. And I really wish I had him clasping onto a tree because that back foot does something weird. It like curls around and you can't see it. So it just turns into like pretty much like a ball foot from the top. So if he was curling, because this one's kind of in that position. So his foot comes out like this and it curls, and it would probably curl under like this, and there would be his nails would hook into the bottom, and his tail like comes below his body like kind of like a dress, and the rest of his body would go here, and then he's got like a regular looking arm, right? This is, I don't think I drew this with enough length. I think he's too short in the middle, because the one that I'm looking at like has like a big arch in his back. And then the scales come up there, and then, but like the one we need needs to be more reachy. He's got a pretty beefy arm that goes to his neck, and then he's got that like head with the rat nose in there. And then he's got this like super weird super eye, right? But he's got a super long tongue. That's the thing. They don't know he's got the secret weapon. So the battle is that like there's like a leaf, right? Like there's got to be like ants. There was ants. See, I just don't know if it's gonna fit, right? Like, do I dip him down lower? I gotta stretch him out more. He's gotta be like this long, and the branch has gotta be up to here. But is that gonna look good? Yeah, there's a bunch of different versions. There's the one African versions, and then there's the Asian version. But they do climb trees. We watched a video at the beginning of this to like kind of check it out, but I'm weary to watch them again because sometimes they get canceled by YouTube or Twitch, and I'm not trying to get that, trying to get copyright infringement. So watched it once. Maybe it'll be available on the restream if you want to go back and take a look. Or you can take a look for yourself. It's the BBC version of the Pangolin. Pangolin. Still don't like saying its name. Anyways, so really long tongue, right? Climbs trees. It's going to be like trying to get this leaf that's here. So my thought process is leaf. Like super bright green leaf with an ant on it. Right? And then UFO guy like totally trying to get at him, right? Here's Mr. Ant like running away from oh man, that ant came out pretty good for a quick ant. Don't gloat too fast because it'll all go downhill real quick. And this thing's just sucking it up, right? So you got like a little thing. And I can keep the UFO part that's part of this. But not that I really want it. I kind of like it because it's terrible. It's more my style, but it's gonna all change because everything that I've been putting out lately has been so cartoony and not like written all over. So style's changing again. I guess I'm just trying new things, so that's kind of the plan. Trying to clean up things and make them a little bit more presentable. So anyways, if we're drawing scales, these scales will go, I mean, in theory they're just weird looking scales. Which way do those scales go? Of course it's on the wrong side. I wish it was on the other side so you could see it. But it's not. Unfortunately. That's kind of like the only reason that I would choose to use Bing is because it does put it on the other side for everyone to watch. Okay, let's go to the desktop. Things upside down. Oh, look at those claws. That front claw is huge. So this is just like a better way to kind of look through things. Look at that tail. It is huge. So those ones are like long. See like the atmosphere there? Like a gully. And then there's the African ones that are like more in the desert. But they have like a razor sharp tail, so like they can like swing that thing and like cut up their victims. Babies ride on their backs. For I think what I read was like 2 years, but seemed pretty outlandish to me. Like, that's a really good picture of this thing. Well, this one's hanging upside down. It's pretty cool, but it's not coming up. That thing's scary. Wow. Huh. That can't be real. Is that real? Don't know. Can't be trusted. The internet cannot be trusted. But like, I really just want to see one in the tree. You can see them in safari in Africa. Here's one. It's like just a more scary, aggressive possum. But look at the scaling on the back of its leg, and it's got like this paw claw thing. So yeah, okay, maybe I can get some ideas from this tree. So maybe his foot is on the tree branch. That makes sense. Curl that around. I think this might work. I think this idea might work. I think it's a, think of a flower petal. The fat end goes towards the butt. The fat end goes towards the butt. You mean the pointy? Fish scales. Yeah, but like his hands, do they go down or up? Down or up his hands? Like, do they go this way or do they go that way? I don't know. I can't tell. It looks like they change. Come on. And then, but yeah, the pointy ends all go towards his tail. But his tail has thicker scales than like his back, which is pretty interesting. His tail really just has a very distinct pattern, which is, what is it? It looks like just one big one in the center, and then two half scales on the side. One big one in the center. Two half scales on the side. One big one in the center. Something like that. For his tail. Oops, sorry. You guys aren't getting both. Split screen. Studio. So, I don't know. I think it could work. I think it could go within the style. I don't know if I can save this tree or how detailed I want to do the tree. That's a whole another process. How we're gonna actually put down the paint. Maybe I'll do some experimenting with like actually painting some scales in the next day or two. Like I said, I've been kind of busy this week, and it's not going to slow down, but I'm also trying to push forward and get ahead of some other projects while working on each of these paintings. So that's happening. What else? I don't know where to stop, because now I have to really just make some big decisions, maybe take a break from it, because I really haven't even drawn it on the canvas, and the canvas has some flaws in it, so a lot of these things are not going to cover up what I needed to cover up. I also want to do a little bit of research on what kind of, like, maybe trees that they're hanging out in, because I really don't know at this point. I haven't done enough research. I did a little bit of COVID-19 research, and it said that it shares a lot of the relative genomes or strands of DNA that in the COVID respiratory. I don't even know what it's called. I read about it, then it went right over my head because I'm just not that smart. I got some of the stuff, and then like I said, I got confused, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we leave this up to the scientists and just, that's not a bad one. It gives you a good look at his back and his legs. But I really wanted him stretched out, so that it looks like he's trying to, like, get the last thing, and maybe that's the pose where his arms are back. And he's leaning forward, and his neck is long, and his head is long. But that's going to mess with his scales. I don't know. I have to do some practice drawing, and I don't think I'm going to get that done tonight or in this episode. So I think I'm going to have to make some big decisions. I might end up eventually painting over this canvas anyways, even though, like, the background's good. I'll probably do that just before I go ahead and start painting. So, like, I don't know. We didn't get very far. We kind of, like, just thought it brainstormed again tonight. And God worked on some things. So let's just jump into the studio one more time to take a look. So this is what we're working with. Our job is to paint the pangolin. The mountains look okay, but I did draw, like, a pink pangolin here, and it's, kind of like there's a pink stripe in the sky, so I gotta figure out how to cover that up. And I don't think that even if I drew this one here, maybe if I drew him more outstretched, the head is still not in the spot it needs to be. So I don't know how I'm going to do this cover up. And maybe I can patchwork this back together, or call my brother and ask him, like, what did you use to do that originally? And maybe I have the paint. Maybe he even left me the paint. Who knows? But, there we go. Hopefully UFO, ant, tongue, long tongue. We'll get all the characteristics and try to give it a little bit of character, and get that scale in. So that's our plan. I am going to sign out tonight. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a good end of the month. If you got paid, great. If you're a property manager, great. Everyone's rent is due, so you just made a lot of money. What do I need to do? Webcam. All right. Oh, look at that. Close-up of Apashka. Didn't know we were doing, like, some close-up advertising. Anyways, that's going to be it for this one. I hope everyone enjoyed watching it. And we'll see you next time. Everyone have a good night, and hopefully enjoy the rest of your week. It'll be Friday soon, and we'll be back to watching what I actually ended up coming up with. Anyways, well, thanks for watching, and peace.